Hi guys, my name is Natalie, and it has been so long since I've made a video, but I've had a lot of life changes since my last video. Got a new job, got a new house, got my own personal library, and I'm stuck at home in it like everyone else for quarantine. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a book haul. So I'm just going to jump right into talking about the books that I bought. So I'm going to go from smallest already opened things to big boxes that I have not opened yet, and I'm just going to go through them and show you what I'm hoping to read in the next couple of months. So the first book I have is called A Princess in Theory. It's the Reluctant Royals #1, I believe, and it's by Alyssa Cole. I was really intrigued by this book because I don't know about you guys, but when I worked at the newspaper, I got so many of those emails from people pretending to be like African princes and trying to get your information to share their wealth. Well, those are always scams. But in this book, the lead in this book, whose name is Naledi Smith, she gets one of those emails from someone claiming to be an African prince, and they say that she is betrothed to an African prince, and she's like, yeah, right, no way. Well, it turns out that might be more true than she ever could have thought, and so angst and love and all that good stuff ensues, and I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be funny, I think it's going to be romantic and sweet, and I'm just really excited to try something new. So yeah. The next book I purchased is Pantomime by Laura Lamb. This is book 1 in what I believe is a trilogy, and it's a circus trilogy, as you can maybe tell from the image on the front cover, and I'm really excited for this one. This is the story of Jean, who is both male and female, and Jean has been displaying some unwanted magical abilities and just kind of flees from their home and goes to a lost civilization and joins a circus, and I don't know a whole lot about this. I know she becomes an aerialist, and I used to do aerial yoga, which is similar but not quite as intense, and I'm just really excited for circusy elements. I'm excited to see how the representation in this book is, and you'll see that I also purchased books 2 and 3, and I will unbox them later on in the video. So the next book that I want to talk about is this. It's called The Knife in the Hall. It's a clue mystery by Diana Peterfround. And so I know basically nothing about this book, which is a theme that you might come across in this video. A lot of the books that I bought during quarantine I know pretty much nothing about. But this appealed to me because one of the reviews on it said that there were elements in here that reminded them and called and harkened back to specifically the Clue movie. And so I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's got a stellar cast. Tim Curry, who is my favorite actor in the entire world, is Wadsworth the Butler, and it's hilarious and wonderful, and really that movie sparked my love of mysteries. So this book kind of takes a different approach to Clue. It actually takes place at Blackbrook Academy, and there's a storm at night, and a motley crew of students, including Beth Peacock Picarch, Orchid McKee, Vaughn Green, Sam Mustard Maister, Finn Plum, and Scarlet Mystery, and they're all left stranded at this boarding school, and something terrible happens. One of them, I'm guessing, is murdered, and it's up to the team, or up to you as the reader, to figure out who did it. This is the first in the Clue Mystery book series to come out that I know of, and I'm really, really excited for this. I think it's going to be funny. I love murder mysteries. I'm just hoping for a really great time all around. So next up, I kind of half unboxed this already, but this is actually one of the book outlet orders that I made. So let me just pull these things out. Alright. So right out of the box, we have book 2 and 3 in that series by Laura Lamb. Book 2 is Shadow Play, and book 3 is Masquerade. And I don't want to know too much about these because I haven't read book 1 yet. I'm really excited to have these. All the covers match, and I'm really hoping to enjoy this fun, circusy, kind of magical book series. And you know, everyone loves a good circus story, right? So yeah, I can't wait to check this one out. The other book that came in that package is The Merlin Conspiracy by Diana Wynne Jones. Diana Wynne Jones has been one of my favorite authors since I was probably in about 6th or 7th grade. The first book I read of hers was Howl's Moving Castle, and it has remained one of my absolute favorite books ever. And so I really have been on a quest for the last like 10 years or so to check out all of their works that I can. I know that Diana Wynne Jones passed away a couple years ago, so I'm just really excited to have this vast library of her work. She's one of the most prolific children's fantasy authors of all time. So I'm really excited for The Merlin Conspiracy. I haven't read a book by Diana Wynne Jones in quite some time, and I'm really hoping to just fall back into one of her magical worlds. I think everyone's looking for a great escape during this quarantine, so here's hoping this one's good. So the next thing I ordered is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Like a lot of you, I'm sure, I grew up as a fan of the Hunger Games trilogy, and I was really affected by those stories growing up. As a teenager, I thought Katniss was maybe the coolest heroine for a while, and I wanted to be her. Even before that though, I was really into archery, so I felt a lot of sympathy for the character. But now in this one, we have a different main character. Our main character is 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow, who is entering into his first year as a mentor at the games, at the Hunger Games. And so he has some high stakes. His reputation is really at stake in this one. I don't really know too much about this book. I'm just really excited to enter the world of the Hunger Games again. I know this takes place, I think it's about 50 years before the events of the Hunger Games trilogy, and so I'm really excited to enter this world again. I think Suzanne Collins is a really great author, and I can't wait to see what she has written for us. The next book I purchased is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and I know next to nothing about this book. I know I keep saying that. All I do know about it is that there are vampires. There may even be some vampire slang because it's in the title, and I really like that. I also know that there's a close-knit friend group in here. There's a book club. All those things are great words to get me to buy a book and go into it knowing absolutely nothing. I'm hoping this is going to be fun, maybe some thriller elements, and yeah, I'm just really excited to have something that's maybe dark but also a little humorous to get me through the summer. Next up is Just a Boy and a Girl in a Little Canoe by Sarah Mlinowski. I'm so sorry if I butcher any names, but again, I don't know anything about this book. I just know that someone said online that if you want summer camp vibes, this book is great for that. It will take you back to those days where either you went to summer camp, which I did not, or you wanted to go to summer camp and all of the 90s TV was about summer camp. So I'm really excited for this. I'm hoping for some sweet moments, some humor, some fiascos, I don't know, but I think it's going to be a great time. And this is my first time reading anything by this author, so yeah, I can't wait. Next we have Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy. So again, I don't want to go into this book knowing too much. I do know that these two characters are on opposite sides of some great familial kind of thing that has to take place. I know that there are gods and there's an underworld, and they have to sacrifice their love in order to continue going with their society the way that it is. But that's really all that I know. I don't want to go into this one with too many details. I just kind of want to be surprised. I'm hoping that there are some like Romeo and Juliet-esque moments, and that it's going to be a fun, angsty, wild ride. We have Dark Dawn, Book 3 of the Nevernight Chronicles by Jay Kristoff. I have not yet started reading the Nevernight Chronicles, but I know it's about Mia, who is an assassin, and it's dirty and bawdy and bloody, and I've heard wonderful, wonderful things about this series, so I'm excited to have the third one to complete my collection and to start reading this soon. I am a fan of Jay Kristoff's work with Amy Kaufman, and yeah, I really absolutely love his writing so far that I know of it, and everything I've read of his, so I'm really excited to dive into this. The next book we have is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. Again, I don't know anything about this other than that Stephen King says it is one of the scariest books he's ever read. He even blurbed the cover, and I've been reading Stephen King since I was about in 7th grade. He scares the absolute pants off of me, and especially once summer starts coming to a close and the autumny vibes start hitting, I think this will be a great book to dive into. Yeah, I can't wait to see, you know, anything that terrifies Stephen King is good enough for me. Next up, we have Born of Legend by Sherilyn Kenyon. Look at how thick this book is. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'm seeing about 725 or 26 pages, which honestly isn't too bad. That's like, you know, 4th Harry Potter book level. Again, I don't know a lot about this. It says, hunted, hated, betrayed, outcast, Dagger Ixer is on the run for his life. As one of the most recognizable members of his royal house, he has a bounty on his head that guarantees him no quarter from any friend or even family. But surrender isn't in him. He will fight to the bitter end, a resolve that is sorely tested when he narrowly escapes a trap that leaves him severely wounded. With what he believes is his dying breath, he saves a boy born to an extinct race from a group out to enslave the kid for his legendary abilities. And really, with that first paragraph, that's all I need to be intrigued by this. I've read some of Sherilyn Kenyon's other books, and I've been slowly trying to work my way through all of her books over the years, and I absolutely adore her writing. She's great at angst and romance and very adult content. They are sexy, they are steamy, they are action-packed, they are everything you could possibly want. So I'm really excited to have this bad boy with me. I'm pretty sure this is pretty far into her collection of work. So it might take me a little while to get to this one, but who knows? I could be convinced to read things out of order. Next up from my book outlet order is Dark of the West by Joanna Hathaway. I've been interested in this book for quite a while. I know it's about 2 kingdoms that are at war, and there's a prince and a princess, and one of them goes to the other kingdom to try to either assassinate someone or convince someone of something, and ends up falling in love with the other one. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. I am interested to see, the cover's got some really interesting elements here, like this plane and the stallion here, so I'm wondering if there are going to be some like steampunky kind of elements. It kind of is giving me a Studio Ghibli vibe for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I am interested to check this one out. I know that the second book in this series is either out or will be out soon, so yeah, check it out if you're into that kind of thing. Next up from my book outlet order, oh my gosh, this thing is tiny! This book is Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones, and, or Stephen Graham Jones. I'm not really sure. But, wow, this is tiny. It's like a novella. I was expecting more of a novel size, but that's exciting. So this is a horror novel, and it says that it's a literary horror tale about race in America deeply rooted in the contemporary Native American experience. I know this is an Own Voices book. I'm really excited to read this, especially because it's so short. It's only, let's see, yeah, 108 pages long. This is like an hour to read, so that's really exciting. I don't know anything about this other than that it's a horror and an Own Voices book. And again, I'm really interested in reading Own Voices books and really interested in horror, especially as summer starts to turn into fall. So I can't wait to read this, honestly. The size alone has kind of bumped it up on my TBR, so that's great. Finishing out my selections from Book Outlet this last time is Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Now, I do actually know something about this book. It's about a group of gentlemen, and they each take turns telling scary stories one day. And something happens where the stories bring up something that happened a long time ago that was never resolved, and scary things start happening, and that's really all I need. This one again was blurbed by Stephen King, and anything that like scares the king of horror, I'm so down for. I think this is going to be great. Again, when summer starts to turn to fall, or even in September and October, gearing up for the spooky season, I can't wait. The last box I have here is from Book of the Month, and I am not affiliated with them in any way. I pay for their service out of pocket entirely. I've been getting their books for about a year now, and I feel like it is monthly a challenge for me not to get 3 books. So almost every single month I do in fact get 3 books, and I'm okay with that, honestly. So let's see what I chose this month. I honestly don't remember, and I'm excited about that. Ooh, okay, yeah. All right, so first up we have The Boyfriend Project by Farah Roshan. I'm so excited about this. I totally forgot I picked this. So this book is about Samaya, who has been catfished a couple of times, and she's decided that instead of doing that, she's going to develop her own app to help facilitate dating. And she notices Daniel in her workplace, and she thinks he's attractive, I'm sure. But somehow or other, they end up having a romantic thing. Maybe, you know, there's some tension, some rivalry. I'm not really sure. I just know that I'm really, really interested in this. And I think this cover is gorgeous. So I can't wait. Next up, we have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I know. How can I possibly not have read this yet? And I'm not really sure how I haven't read it yet. I've been intrigued by this for a while now. I know the HBO series has rave reviews. So if you don't know a lot about this, this is about a mother and a daughter who moved to a small town in Cleveland Heights, I believe, is what the town was modeled after, in Ohio. And this is particularly interesting for me because I live in Youngstown, Ohio. So Cleveland Heights is really only about an hour and a half away from me. But anyways, this mother and daughter moved to this town, and it's about their relationships with their neighbors, and, you know, there are some racial tensions to deal with, and really it's just one of those life stories that, you know, reflects people every day in a really dramatic way, but that is endearing and dramatic, and I'm interested. And lastly, from Book of the Month, we have Anna Kay, A Love Story by Jenny Lee. Again, I don't know too much about this one, but I know it's been compared to Gossip Girl, and that's enough for me. I definitely was Gossip Girl trash back in 2006, 2007. I love the drama. I love the sheer wealth that these kids displayed and the angst that they got into because of that privilege. So I'm really excited to see what's going on with this one. And yeah, I think it'll be fun, you know? And the last book that I bought during my quarantine time that I don't actually have to hold up for you is Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I don't have it to hold up because I'm reading it, and it's in one of my bags or my bedside table maybe somewhere, but I'm a real fan of this series, the first one of which being Aurora Rising. I can't tell you too much about Aurora Burning because I don't want to spoil Aurora Rising for you, but I can tell you it's about a crew on a spaceship, and they're kind of thrown together by happenstance. Tyler, who is the leader of this crew, happens to find this girl named Aurora the morning before he is supposed to pick his crew, and she kind of ruins everything for him. And so he gets stuck with this kind of motley crew, but they're all lovable in their own unique ways, and they have to go on a journey through space to find out what happened to the rest of Aurora's colony. And it's a really wonderful story. It's totally hilarious at times, heartbreaking, dramatic. The writing is impeccable. If you have read anything by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, you will know that they are just absolutely sci-fi king and queen, and I adore their writing. So I've been reading that. I'm in the middle of the second book, and I'm really excited to continue on with that series. So okay, everyone, that was my book haul for quarantine. If you feel like it, leave me a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know if you hated any of these books, if you loved any of these books, if you think I bought too many books. I think I bought too many books, but I mean, really, who can say what too many books is? Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully I will make more of these videos. We'll find out. I am working from home, so that all just kind of depends on my schedule and whether or not I have anything to say. So thank you again. I'll see you guys next time.